Now, the Subway Final Word.
Welcome back. I'm Albie Oxenrider with tonight's panelists John Steigerwald, Mark Madden, Chris Adamski. Topic 2, how many wins do the Steelers need in their final 6 to make the playoffs? Staggy, is your crystal ball working tonight?
Well, yeah, I agree. I think they have to win at least 10, but there are a lot of teams bunched together there at 6-4 with 6-7 wins. I think they have to get at least 10 to win their division, although the Bengals look a lot better now that A.J. Green is playing. All of a sudden, Mr. Dalton doesn't look quite as bad. So I think 10 at the outside they're going to need to win the division. And the wild card, there's no way of knowing, but I think that might also take 10 because of so many teams with 6 and 7 wins.
All right, 4 will make it 10-6. Chris Adamski, do you agree that's what they're going to need?
Well, the answer to the question is it depends on who the wins come against. If they sweep the Bengals and beat the Chiefs, then 3-3 might get it done. If they lose both games to the Bengals, I don't know if 4-2 is going to get it done. And the thing is, in the normal circumstances, you could say, well, if they get those 3 wins against the Bengals and Chiefs, who are 2 pretty good teams, they'll probably beat the other 3 teams they play who all stink. But again, as we talked about earlier, these are the Steelers, and you can't assume that. So I don't know what that'll mean.
Very important. That's an important distinction, too. Who are the losses to? Mark Madden?
To make the playoffs, they need to win 4, and one of those wins at least has to be against the Bengals.
Yep.
But wouldn't it be just like the Steelers if they got to 10 wins, which almost always gets a team in the playoffs, and this is the year it doesn't? That would be so typical, the ups and downs that have pervaded the Steelers' 2014 season.
Who would have thought last year? Remember when the Steelers were sitting there at 8-8 and they almost got in to the playoffs? This year it's going to take a lot more, apparently, John.
Yeah, no question. They deserve to have what happened to them last year happen, just because you don't deserve to get in after the season they had at 8-8. But this year it's just much different. It's because so many teams are above 500. It's an unusual thing in the NFL to have this many teams playing above 500.
All right, Bengals are 6-3-1. Everybody else 6-4 in the AFC North. This week, the Pirates traded away Justin Wilson to the Yankees for catcher Francisco Cervelli. They also re-signed A.J. Burnett after a year in Philadelphia for A.J. Topic 3, are the Bucs making the right moves in free agency so far? Buzz, lead us off.
Well, it's still early, of course, and there's still a long offseason yet to play out here. But yeah, I mean, the Burnett signing, you have to like that. I mean, he's a middle of the rotation guy, probably at worst, and on the free agent market, that value, that number is a good number to get. I've seen him be on the minority on this, but I like the trade as well. Cervelli is a guy that, now I know he hasn't been healthy much, and that's the big if, but they're kind of buying low because of that health there, and they can get him. This could be an everyday catcher, a guy that's been productive offensively when he's played. By all indication, he's very good defensively, and you're giving up a middle reliever, a guy. I know Justin Wilson, yes, he throws in the high 90s. I know he's left-handed. I know that makes him very valuable and rare in a lot of ways. But let's face it, by the end of this past season, he wasn't the closer. He wasn't the 8th inning guy. He wasn't the 7th inning guy. He wasn't even the 6th inning guy by the end there. We're talking about a guy, a middle reliever who, at that point, you're dealing off a middle reliever for a starting 8 player. So you got to make that trade anytime you can.
I can't take my eyes off that cap. All right, we have this from Twitter. Christmas came early this year. Burnett can still pitch and is clearly a great addition to the clubhouse as well. Mark, is he the right kind of guy to have in the clubhouse, especially if Martin leaves?
I don't really care about the right kind of guy. Is he the right kind of pitcher? I think so, but what if Liriano and Volquez both leave? The Pirates will have less pitching to start this coming season than they had to finish the prior. As far as the Cervelli deal goes, the Pirates lost that deal because they gave up the better player in Justin Wilson. Not too many left-handed relievers hit 100 miles per hour on the radar gun occasionally. Wilson does, and for all his inconsistency, there's no denying his raw talent. And it's nice to sit here and think that Cervelli might be the Pirates' starting catcher. It's probably more realistic to believe he'll get hurt again. He's played 250 big league games. He's missed 199 due to injury. Yeah, okay, maybe he had 301 last year, but Francisco Cervelli makes Bo Bennett look like Lou Gehrig. If he isn't available, he's no good.
Stag.
Well, I said a while ago that after I saw what Volquez did this year, that I would never question another decision on pitching that the Pirates made, because the way they were able to just come out smelling like a rose after picking up 2 people off the trash heap and turning them to guys who looked like Cy Young Award winners. But A.J. Burnett is 37 years old. He led the major leagues in losses and walks. Those are not two things that you want to lead the major leagues in. And as far as getting a catcher in here, all of this whole discussion that we're having right now that will be had around Pittsburgh for the next few weeks it's the silly season in Major League Baseball if you're a small market team. You lost a guy like Russell Martin, and now you're talking about picking up this other guy who you hope can do what Russell Martin did, and because Russell Martin is going to go to a Big Ten or top 10 TV market, it's just what happens with the Pirates. The only thing they can hope for is luck.
The Trib had a great article this morning about Tom Barrasso and Marc-Andre Fleury, the two best goaltenders in Penguins history. With that article in mind, with that topic in mind, let's discuss it. Who's the better Penguins goalie all time? Is it Barrasso or is it Fleury? Mark Madden, start off the debate.
You know, Albie, it's funny you should mention that. I prepared a list of 1,004 Penguin goalies better than Tom Barrasso. Let me start. Number 1, Pat Riggin. Number 2, Frank Pietrangelo. Number 3, Ken Reagan. Number 4, Bubbles the practice goalie. Number 5, Pat Riggin. Number 6, Jean-Sebastien Aubin. Number 7, Jim Rutherford. Number 8, Al Smith. Number 9, Andy Brown. Number 10, Tom McMillan. Number 11, Pat Riggin. Number 12, Sebastian Caron. Number 13, Marc-Andre Fleury. Number 14, Patrick Lalline. Number 15, Pat Riggin. Number 16, Wes Binkley.
All right.
Number 17, Gary Innes. Number 18,
All right. Kevin says Flower will be another.
Number 19, Dennis Herron. Number 20, Gilles Meloche. Number 21,
All
Eric
right,
Meloche.
we're out of time.
Number
We
22,
get the point.
Oshkosh Meloche. Don't forget Moose. I insist on
All right.
saying Moose.
Staggy, does it need another
I wasn't
cup,
done,
as social
Staggy.
media,
I wasn't done.
says?
Yeah, well, you know what? If not for Frankie Pietrangelo, Tom Barrasso would have maybe one cup. So I don't let the cup argument get into it at all. I think that his body of work, Fleury, will end up being better than Tom Barrasso. And I don't think you have to. It's not that simple where you measure it by who won the most cups. Because if not for the save by Frank Pietrangelo, who was in goal that night in New Jersey, Tom Barrasso doesn't win that cup.
All right, Chris Adamski.
I don't know how I follow that list. Where I can even
I'd like to finish my list.
No, I think we had enough.
First of all, you have to remember the stats are completely. You cannot compare
No.
across eras. You got teams were scoring 2 extra goals a game in Barrasso's prime than they are now in Fleury's prime. So forget the goals against, forget anything like that. You can't compare at all. Now listen, I'm a Marc-Andre Fleury supporter. I think it was a good move by Jim Rutherford to re-up him for 4 more years. But you know, Marc-Andre Fleury is not Tom. Marc-Andre Fleury at his best is an above-average NHL goalie. Tom Barrasso went through a period of his career where he was an elite goalie, and you know, Fleury is not going to be at that. Barrasso won a Vezina coming right out the gate. He lasted 20 years too. Fleury needs to match that kind of longevity before we can get in the same conversation.
All right, thanks. Marc-Andre Fleury could reach 300 this week as early as Friday night. What's on your mind in sports? Your final word along with the panelists' final word next on the Subway Final Word. Stick with us.